They were the pioneers, the trailblazers, the voices that filled church halls and revival tents across America. For decades, they carried the message of the gospel in four-part harmony until the road finally ended. But retirement wasn't the end of their story. In this video, we take you on a heartfelt journey through the lives of the greatest Southern gospel quartets. The Cathedrals, the Happy Goodmans, the Florida Boys, the Blackwood Brothers, the Weatherfords, the Speer Family, the Imperials, and more, sharing why they stepped off the stage and how God brought them back for one final encore through the Gaither Homecoming series. This is more than music history. It's a tribute to faith, family, and the timeless power of song. The Cathedrals, 1964 to 1999. Members at peak: Glenn Payne, George Younce, Mark Trammell, Scott Fowler, Roger Bennett, among others. Retirement story. The Cathedrals were perhaps the most iconic male quartet in Southern gospel. Their blend of harmony, humor, and deep spiritual commitment earned them legendary status. Founders Glenn Payne and George Younce built a group known for excellence and humility. In the late 1990s, both Glenn and George suffered serious health problems. Glenn from cancer and George from heart and kidney failure. Rather than replace these foundational members, the group chose to retire in 1999. Gaither Homecoming connection. Bill Gaither, a longtime friend of Glenn and George, invited the Cathedrals to participate in early Gaither Homecoming videos. The Cathedrals' emotional performances, especially their renditions of Champion of Love, This Old House, and Sinners Saved by Grace, touched audiences worldwide. Even after Glenn's death in 1999, George remained a beloved part of the Gaither Homecoming family until his passing in 2005. Why they joined Gaither? Their message aligned perfectly with Gaither's vision: to unite generations through gospel music and honor its legacy. Bill Gaither often said, "The Cathedrals were the gold standard." The Happy Goodmans, 1940s, 2000s. Key members: Howard Goodman, Vestal Goodman, Rusty Goodman, Sam Goodman. Retirement story. The Happy Goodmans were pioneers of Pentecostal-flavored Southern gospel, with the powerful, soul-stirring voice of Vestal Goodman at the forefront. As members aged and several passed away, Rusty in 1990, Sam in 1991, Howard in 2002, the group gradually disbanded. Vestal carried on singing occasionally with the Gaither Homecoming series until her death in 2003. Gaither Homecoming connection. Vestal and Howard were early and beloved members of the Homecoming series. Vestal's passionate delivery, signature white handkerchief, and deep sincerity made her a standout. Her performances of God Walks the Dark Hills and I Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now are unforgettable. Why they joined Gaither? Bill Gaither considered the Goodmans gospel royalty. Their presence added spirit-filled energy and deep emotion to every taping. Their family-like approach to ministry fit perfectly with the homecoming atmosphere. The Florida Boys, 1946 to 2007. Key members: Les Beasley, Glenn Allred, Darrell Stewart. Retirement story. The Florida Boys were a stable force in Southern gospel for over 60 years. Known for songs like When He Was on the Cross, I Was on His Mind, they officially retired in 2007. Founding member Les Beasley had begun stepping back from active touring, and the group wanted to honor its legacy without overstaying its time. Gaither Homecoming connection. They appeared on several Gaither Homecoming videos and were always appreciated for their classic sound and commitment to the gospel message. They represented the old guard of gospel music, polished, dignified, and spiritual. Why they joined Gaither? As statesmen of the genre, their presence lent credibility and continuity to the Homecoming brand. They enjoyed sharing the stage with old friends and being honored for their lifelong contributions. The Statesmen Quartet, 1948 to 2001. Key members: Hovey Lister, Jake Hess, Doyot, Rosie Rosel. Retirement story. The Statesmen dominated the mid-20th century with a jazzy, upbeat style. By the 1980s, most of the original members had passed away or retired. Hovey Lister attempted a few reunions, but with age and health problems, The group could no longer continue and effectively ended by 2001. Gaither Homecoming Connection. Jake Hess, Hovey Lister, and other former Statesmen members became cornerstones of the Gaither Homecoming series. Jake was featured on early Homecoming albums and beloved for his smooth baritone and mentoring spirit. Why they joined Gaither? They represented a golden era of Southern gospel. Gaither used the Homecoming series to honor and document their immense legacy while they were still alive. The Blackwood Brothers, 1934 present. Key members: James Blackwood, Cecil Blackwood, R.W. Blackwood, Bill Lyles. Retirement status: the original and classic Blackwood Brothers Quartet, especially those from the 1940s, 70s, are now retired or deceased. While a version of the group still tours under the name, currently led by Billy Blackwood, the golden era Blackwoods who helped shape Southern gospel retired long ago. Gaither Homecoming Connection. The late James Blackwood was deeply loved on the Homecoming stage. His warm spirit and seasoned vocals were featured in many videos, singing classics like Peace in the Valley and How About Your Heart. James's presence symbolized tradition, integrity, and excellence. Why they joined Gaither? James Blackwood believed in the mission of preserving gospel music's heritage. Bill Gaither once said that James was the patriarch of gospel music, and his inclusion gave credibility to the Homecoming movement. Even in his final years, James would sing seated, pouring his soul into every word. Why they retired? The deaths of R.W., 1954 plane crash, Bill Lyles, and later Cecil and James marked the end of an era. As members aged and passed, the original lineup retired out of necessity. A younger generation now carries the name, but the original legacy rests with the Homecoming footage. The Weatherfords, 1944, early 2000s. Key members: Earl Weatherford, Lily Fern Weatherford, Les Beasley, briefly, Glenn Payne, briefly. Retirement status: the Weatherfords officially stepped back from national touring in the early 2000s. Earl Weatherford passed away in 1992, and Lily Fern continued for a time, but eventually retired from the road. Gaither Homecoming Connection. Lily Fern Weatherford was a frequent and treasured voice on Gaither Homecoming. Her renditions of Tell My Friend and What a Precious Friend Is He reflected decades of faithful service and rich vocal skill. She represented the era of elegant, mixed group Southern gospel. Why they joined Gaither? Bill Gaither revered the Weatherfords as pioneers, especially Lily Fern as a female trailblazer. Their inclusion gave recognition to early traveling gospel ministries who paved the way. Why they retired? After decades of road ministry, the Weatherfords stepped away due to age and health. They had a significant influence on groups like the Cathedrals and Imperials, launching many careers. Their Homecoming appearances gave them a final spotlight to honor that legacy. Though the curtain closed on their touring days, their voices never faded. Thanks to the Gaither Homecoming series, these legends were brought back into the spotlight, loved, remembered, and celebrated by new generations. Bill and Gloria Gaither didn't just record concerts, they preserved a legacy. They gave retired gospel heroes a platform to sing again, to testify, to finish well. To the Cathedrals, the Goodmans, the Speers, the Blackwoods, the Imperials, and so many more, thank you for the music, the ministry, and the memories. And to Gaither Homecoming, thank you for giving these voices their final, glorious encore.